and the protesting and everything like that. Yes, I'm all for it. Stand up for your rights, but stand up for your rights behind a computer if you can. Because at the end of the day, it's not going to do anyone good if you're gone. It's just not. And no one's gonna. You can't fight when you're dead. You can make a statement. You know, Mr. George, I think he is changing the world, like his daughter said. His daughter she said, my daddy changed the world. But it's so unfortunate that her dad had to leave in order to change the world. And the woman that she's going to become, her dad would never know. It's so unfortunate, you know? So I do want to change the world. I do want people to hear my story, but I want to be alive to accept my flowers and not when I'm dead. That's just how I feel.
Absolutely. You know what? I commend George Floyd's daughter and everyone who's been helping her. Actually, I'd love to know your thoughts on this. The organization Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated is actually paying for her college tuition to go to an HBCU.
Can I tell you something about that, though? It's so many people who've been paid for that young lady's college fund. The crazy thing is Barbara Walton, I think, gave her stocks for Disney. So that's paid, right? Kanye West gave her $2 million in scholarship money. That's paid. Now, Alpha Kappa Alpha, which I am a sorority member of, I am a proud member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, gives her money as well. I'm not saying that a village cannot raise a child. But what I'm saying is there's a lot of kids who has a lot of fathers who are incarcerated. There's a lot of kids with a lot of fathers who have died from police brutality. There's a lot of kids with a lot of fathers who have died from gun violence. Take that money and make a bigger impact, and not just on her because she's in the news. You understand what I'm saying? So understand where I'm coming from. I think it takes a village to raise a child. Don't get me wrong. However, what about the other children in the same village as her? What are we going to do with her? Because she's going to be set regardless. Everyone is grabbing, giving her mom money. Her father has obtained over, I think, close to $1 million. That's fine. His family is set. But what happens to her neighbor who doesn't have a father? If you want to make an impact, go to her neighborhood, on her block, and knock on every single black woman, Asian woman, Caucasian woman, Indian, Native American, Hispanic, and knock on their door and say, hey, we want this particular block at this particular time for all the kids over here to grow up with a college education. We're here to make sure all of you guys are growing up with a college education, because correct me if I'm wrong, a college education is close to, you do $30,000 a year depending on what school, and plus she has a full ride to Texas State or whatever school that is from her hometown, or Houston, whatever school it is. At what point of time do we say, maybe we can make a bigger impact and knock on the doors of her neighbors who was affected as well, or maybe we should give the money to her mom to start her a business.
Right. Yep.
I'm saying, like, I hate when people do things just to make a public statement, and that's not what I'm about. So I'm more so about the bigger picture, because she's one girl who can change the world. And now she's a trust fund baby. She never was a trust fund baby before. Now she's a trust fund baby, which is great.
That's awesome, right?
It's awesome, because I don't know too many black trust fund babies. You know, however, what happens to her neighbor? What happens to the little girl or the little boy that she plays with at school? What happens to those kids? So if you want to make an impact, go to her school and give all the kids in her class a scholarship so they can be just as successful as her. And they're not left behind. That's what I feel the impact should be. Not to just continue to say, okay, we're going to do this. No. Everybody who she knows in her class, in her neighborhood, gets a full ride scholarship. That's the impact. Now you're changing the world, because you're not just taking this one girl and putting all of your eggs in that one basket. Now you're taking an entire community and you're building, and you're saying, okay, that little black girl next to you, she got the same seat. You guys got the same. We both have the same 24 hours. What you decide to do in your 24 and what I decide to do in my 24 to survive are totally two different things. But if you give me a fighting chance, now you got a fighting chance. Now what you can do?
A whole
lot. There's no whole lot more, because now you don't have to worry about school tuition anymore. You're not worried about taking care of your family or going to school. You're not thinking about, am I gonna get shot by going to Texas? Because she's still a target. She has his last name.
Right.
You know? That's the impact that you should make. I don't think that giving her so much money and so much things just for a title and just for a headline is the right thing to do. That's just me. Like, I don't think that's good. I think that if you want to make a bigger impact, that's what you do. That's how you make an impact. That's world news. That get other people involved. I love Chance the Rapper. You know, I'm from Chicago. He's from Chicago. But when he made a stance, no one knew that he went to Chicago Public School and did a tour and was giving out hundreds of thousands of dollars for school books and computers and different things of that nature. He didn't make a big publicity thing about it. Other people talked about it, and it was soon washed under the bridge. No one knows he has a youth group that he pretty much works throughout the year with. Every year he rented out the Museum of Science and Industry, one of the biggest museums in Chicago, and he put on a Christmas, back to school thing for all the kids in Chicago, and it was free to go. It was free tickets. All you had to do sign up. That's the impact that I like to see. No one knows that he gave out hundreds and thousands of shoes for kids, and these are not just Payless shoes. These are Uggs and Jordans. Like, right. He gave out things like that. That's the impact that I don't want to get too much sidetracked, because I'm very passionate about this. But yeah, that's how I feel about that. I mean, I think it's great. Everyone's giving her tuition, but to be honest, that same college tuition could have went to her neighbor. Right. It could have went to the little girl upstairs.
And what it really reminds me of too is there was I forget his name, the tech philanthropist that paid off everyone's student debt at Morehouse College not too long ago. Mm-hmm. Like, I thought that was so great, and so it sounds like it's a similar concept with what you're saying, but in essence, what you're saying is a little bit deeper, because it's investing in children before they get to college.
And the thing is about that, about him doing that, a lot of people don't understand that Morehouse and Spelman has a certain cap per class. When I went to Spelman, I think the cap was maybe 300 per class. So he paid off maybe either 300 or 400 college grads. The concept that he had is great, because you're not in debt when you graduate. A lot of people don't understand that you work your behind off to go to school, and you work your behind off to pay for school, and then you graduate. You work your butt off to pay for school again. So in the beginning, you work hard to get in school and pay for it, and then you graduate and you're still paying for it. That's not what college is about. That's not what the educational system should be about. Right. And to graduate without debt is amazing. You don't have a care in the world. You have a fighting chance to buy property, to be successful, to do the things that you're doing right now. You have a fighting chance. Right. And oftentimes I know people who are 50, 60 still paying off college tuition. Yeah. What? They're gonna, I know a couple of people who have died in debt. I don't want to be that person. So I'm trying to set myself up for success in order for me to be great. And that's just what it is. But go ahead.
Definitely. And I think, that there's also different types of debt. There's the college debt, there is the student loans, and then there's home mortgage loans where you take out loans, and then there's business loans when you start your own business, your own firm, or what it is that you have. So, definitely debt management is important, and just kind of transitioning from that to your journey.
Yes.
Your journey to, can you tell us, can you share with us your journey to buying 3 homes?
Of course. I bought my first home at the age of 22. I bought my home secretly. I didn't tell anybody. It's a funny story, and I'll tell you why. Because oftentimes in the Black community, when you tell people your hopes and dreams, you often get, you shouldn't do that. That's not a good idea. That don't make sense. Why are you investing in that neighborhood? Oh, you ain't gonna be able to live over there. They doing this, and this. Like, you get so many opinions. And my mom is a very protective mom by far, even when I was buying my first home to actually live in. So just so you know, I bought 2 homes before I actually lived in one. If that makes sense. So I was all about making money, investing as fast as I can, and being debt free. So I bought 2 homes. I bought a rental property, and then I bought a house before I lived into the house that I live in now. And then
when you say rental property, are you referring to like a condo or?
No. I bought a 2-flat. And it was already occupied. And I bought it in Inglewood. That was my first rental property that I bought, and it was roughly $55,000.